So we recently had one of the biggest heartbreaks to the start of an NFL season, and that was the injury of Aaron Rodgers on Monday Night Football after his 4th snap with the New York Jets. So upsetting to see. You hate to see it, but you wonder, how would this Jets team have ended up at the end of the season if Aaron Rodgers were to stay healthy? We're going to find out here in Madden franchise. Let's go, baby. If you're looking to build that coin stack and get the best team in mud, be sure to check out MMOEXP.com. Build those coins, build your squad. Be sure to use code SNODS at checkout to save 5% off on your order. Link will be in the description down below. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Snods here. We're back with another video, and today we are on Madden franchise mode, and we're going to be using the New York Jets. We're going to be simulating an entire season. But the twist of this video, Aaron Rodgers is not going to tear his Achilles, and he's actually going to stay healthy through the entire year. And we're going to see what this team can do. I think we can all agree that this team right here was the most anticipated team for this season. They picked up Dalvin Cook. A couple guys from Green Bay followed Aaron Rodgers. Of course, the signing of Aaron Rodgers, there was a lot of hype around this team. So I'm curious. I want to know what would have happened with this Jets team. So if you guys are new right here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like this kind of content, throw a like on the video. Also, let's throw our predictions down below. What do you guys think? What's going to go on with this team? I think that the Jets would have made the playoffs, but I think they would have lost in the first round. I do think this is a good looking team. They had Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is on the tail end of his career. I don't know. I just feel like he wouldn't have gone too far into the playoffs. I feel like their division's really, really tough. They got the Dolphins and the Bills in their division. So I think it'd be really hard for them to even make the playoffs. But that's me. Let me know down in the comments. Let's jump into it. So here we go. We're at week 1. This is the game that we saw what we saw, and I'm still so upset that happened. I wanted to see this Jets team play. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna simulate halfway through the season, take a look at everything. Where are the Jets standing? What's Aaron Rodgers' stats looking like? I'm very curious, but I want to take a look at this roster before we do any kind of simulating. All right, so here's to take a look at this offense. Pretty good looking offense. Of course, you got Aaron Rodgers in there. Big halfback signing. They got Dalvin Cook. And it's a two-headed monster back here. You got Breece Hall back here, who I feel like, in my opinion, is going to have a better season than Dalvin Cook. I think they have something really, really special at the halfback position that's huge. Big piece right here, who I thought was going to have a huge season with Aaron Rodgers, but now that he's gone, I think Garrett Wilson still has a good year, but not as good of a season if we have a healthy Aaron Rodgers. Garrett Wilson right here, I think he's going to be really, really good with Aaron Rodgers. That's huge. They have McCole Hardman. I honestly didn't even know that they had this guy. Very fast receiver, good. You've got Allen Lazard, who came from Green Bay, followed with Aaron Rodgers. Awesome. You got Xavier Gibson. This guy's the one that had the huge punt return to win the game on Monday Night Football. That was an electric game. Even without Aaron Rodgers, they got the W. The offensive line is pretty good. It's a decent offensive line, not the greatest in the world, but I think it would have got the job done for sure. You got Tyler Conklin back here. Now, you do this. Now you look at your offense and you're like, I don't know if I like this team. It's such a big game changer when you take out Aaron Rodgers and you replace him with Zach Wilson. It's insane. But let's look at this defense. This defense is pretty good too. I think really the only thing that they're lacking is the outside linebacker position. You got Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner over there. Those two are going to basically carry this entire defense, and I really do think that they're going to be able to get the job done. No doubt about it. But here we go. I can't make any trades. Nothing like that. I'm letting the CPU do everything. If we make the playoffs, if we make the Super Bowl, whatever, we might jump in for like some key moments. I think gameplay would be fun on here, but I don't want to jump in for just a normal game. So let's go ahead and advance to mid-season. We're going to take a look at our record, take a look at stats. How's the season looking for other teams? Let's go ahead and sim to mid-season. All right, so we're week 8 right now. The Jets are sitting at 4-2. I think that's very realistic. I think, yeah, they probably would have been there. They had an interesting schedule, not the hardest. Their second half of the schedule is really, really hard. We're going to take a look at that. We're sitting at week 8, and we're playing against the 1-6 New York Giants. Considering they got beat 40-0 last week, I think 1-6 is probably pretty realistic. But let's go ahead and take a look at everybody. The first thing that I want to take a look at is the stats. Where is everybody at stat-wise? So you got Patrick Mahomes leading the league in passing, Russell Wilson second, Derek Carr's third. This is crazy. Mac Jones is fourth, Josh Allen's fifth, Stafford sixth, seventh is Hurts, eighth is Cousins, ninth is Garoppolo, 10th is Tua, and 11th is your boy Aaron Rodgers. Now Aaron Rodgers has 11 touchdowns. He's only thrown 2 picks so far. So yeah, I think that's pretty realistic as well. I don't know about the top 5 quarterbacks right here, but I do think the stat line is pretty close to what he would be doing. I don't think he would have dominated this season, but I think his stat lines would be just fine. So let's take a look at other guys rushing. Do we see any guys in the rushing category from the Jets? Considering that they would have to split their reps. You got Dalvin Cook here at 432. It's pretty good. In my opinion, I think Breece Hall is going to have a better season than Dalvin Cook. No doubt about it. I don't know where Breece Hall is. So, yeah, maybe Madden isn't splitting snaps as much as they should. You got Patrick Mahomes here at 185, and you don't even see Breece Hall anywhere. So, yeah, maybe they're not splitting the snaps like they should, like they would be in real life. But we'll take a look at receiving. Do we see Garrett Wilson in here? Where's Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson is at 36 receptions for 460 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns. You got Brandon Ayuk in here with 10 touchdowns already. That's insane. Do we see anybody else in here? No. It pretty much... Oh, McCole Hardman. 34 receptions for 383 yards with 0 touchdowns. Okay. Well, I think right now they're kind of like a mid team. They need to break out and go nuts. Let's take a look at this schedule. So week 1 with an Aaron Rodgers, they lost to the Buffalo Bills 10-13. I was kind of expecting that though, because Madden's always pretty high on the Bills. Week 2, however, they did beat the Cowboys. I do think they're going to have a really hard time with the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Dallas Cowboys are a really, really good defense, or the Giants are just really bad. I'm not sure, but yeah, I wouldn't see the Jets beating the Cowboys without Aaron Rodgers. So interesting right there. They beat the Cowboys. Week 3, they beat the Patriots. Again, I think that's pretty realistic. Week 4, they lost to the Chiefs 10-28. I think that's pretty reasonable as well. Week 5, they blew out the Denver Broncos. Huge win right there. And then they beat the Eagles. Actually, man, that would probably be a really, really good game if they had a healthy Aaron Rodgers. It's just something that you find yourself saying over and over during this video, man. Like, dude, this season would have been so cool with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. You hate to see it. Then they had their bye week, and of course they play the 1-6 New York Giants this week. If you go to week 3, we have an AFC Offensive Player of the Week performed by Aaron Rodgers. He went 24 for 31, 280 pass yards with 3 passing touchdowns. He got sacked 4 times, 5 carries for 21 yards. I'm actually surprised that that was the Offensive Player of the Week. But every other week here, we did not get a Jets player. So Aaron Rodgers got it once. It almost seems like the defense might be carrying this team a little bit. So Sauce Gardner maybe having a really good year. I don't know. But our division, we're sitting at 2nd right now. Last is the Dolphins. This is a very, very interesting division. I feel like the top dogs in this division now are obviously the Bills and the Dolphins, but Madden's got the Dolphins at 2-5. So that's very interesting. So what we're going to go ahead and do is advance. I'm not going to sim to the playoffs. We're just going to kind of keep an eye on the record here. If we get knocked out of the playoffs, I want to see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep simulating, and I'll stop if we need to. Wow, we already have a shocker. The Jets lost to the 1-6 Giants. Wow, unbelievable. 4-3. Oh, just by a couple weeks, it's looking tough for the Jets. We haven't won a game since the mid part of the season. They're now 4-6. We're 3rd in the division. We have a player of the week, apparently. Quinnen Williams with 13 tackles and 6 sacks. And you lost. How? I'll tell you what. The second half of the New York Jets season is actually really, really hard. Minus the Giants. I don't know how they lost the 1-6 Giants. That's insane to me. They lost to the Chargers. They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Bills 5-10. What is happening? This is the game that Quinnen Williams had 6 sacks. What a weird game. All right, I think at this point we just sim to the playoffs and see if the Jets can make a dramatic comeback in this season. So we'll show you guys the playoffs. All right, so here we are. The Jets finish at a 9-8 record, and they miss the playoffs. Very tough scene. You hate to see it. Oh man, that losing streak that we just stopped on, I feel like that was huge for them. But I want to take a look at this schedule. Like, what happened in this season? Such a weird year for this team, but also at the same time, kind of realistic with this team. If they were just short of the playoffs and they finished 9-8, I honestly am not surprised by that at all. So obviously we went over every game until the Giants, and they went on this losing streak right here. This little 4-game losing streak that really shot them in the foot, and it hurt them really, really bad. But after the Bills game, they beat the Dolphins 20-14. They lost to the Falcons 7-38. They got blown out by the Falcons. Unbelievable. And then they won against the Texans. They beat the Dolphins again, beat the Commanders. They beat the Browns, and then they lost to the Patriots. This game right here was huge too. If they would have won that, they may have won a chance at the playoff spot. Let's see how close they were. So here's a look at the playoff pictures before we go ahead and look at that. At the number 1 seed, we have the Baltimore Ravens for the AFC. 2 seed is the Raiders. 3 is the Bills. 4 is the Titans. 5 is the Chiefs. That's crazy. 6 is the Bengals. And then 7 is the Broncos. I don't know why, but Madden likes the Broncos for some reason. Going over to the NFC, the number 1 seed is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield. Yeah, okay, that's a lie. Number 2 is the Dallas Cowboys. 3 is the 49ers. 4 is the Packers. That's interesting. The year that they lose Aaron Rodgers, they get the 4 seed. 5 is the Falcons. 6 is the Panthers. 7 is the Bears. That's a very interesting bracket for the NFC side. You talk about close, man. Let's take a look at this. All the way down to the last team, which was the Titans, who made the playoffs at the 14th spot. The Jets were 1 spot away from making the playoffs at a 9-8 record. The Titans made it at 9-8. The Jets did not make it at 9-8. That is very unfortunate. So close. And like I said, I do think that this is very realistic. The teams that made the playoffs, maybe not so much. But how close the Jets were to getting in, I think this is pretty realistic. On a 9-8 record, they were close. Let's take a look at the season that Aaron Rodgers had stat-wise. So Aaron Rodgers finished 8th in the NFL for passing yards at 4,020. He had 11 interceptions for 26 touchdowns at 65% completion percentage. I would have thought his completion percentage would be a little bit higher than that, but he had a good year. I mean, this another season of 4,000 plus yards, and this is an older Aaron Rodgers. So, man, I guess this is what would have happened with Aaron Rodgers on the Jets. Alvin Cook had an 1,000-yard season. I don't think that's realistic. Breece Hall only had 212. Yeah, that's really not realistic at all. I could see this being the other way around. Breece Hall getting over 1,000 yards and Dalvin Cook barely breaking 500. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Let's take a look at the receiving yards. Garrett Wilson had a great year, 1,100 yards. I think that's pretty realistic. I don't see him doing that this year with Zach Wilson, though. Allen Lazard had a year, 965 yards, and McCole Hardman had a pretty good year as well at 818 yards. Allen Lazard had 8 touchdowns, too. Tyler Conklin had 9 touchdowns for 712 yards. Wow. What I want to see is Quinnen Williams. How many sacks did this dude have with that 6-sack game that he had? He only had 15. So almost half of the sacks that he had in one game. Okay, interesting. All right, why not? The Jets season's over. So if all you cared about was the Jets season, feel free to click off. But we're going to go ahead and advance and see who's going to win the Super Bowl this year. Let's see it. So the Super Bowl predictions for Madden is the Tennessee Titans in the AFC and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, Madden, chill out. If that happens this year, Baker Mayfield gets a gets anywhere close to a Super Bowl, I'm gonna be really upset. This is coming from a Browns fan. And the Tennessee Titans at 9-8, which was the same record as ours, wins the Super Bowl. Wow. Okay. What an interesting season. What an interesting season. All right, boys, that's going to be the end of this video. I guess that's what would happen if Aaron Rodgers would have stayed in the league. So if you guys enjoyed this type of content, leave a comment down below and throw a like on the video. That's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm out of here. Peace.